Hello viewers. Today I'd like to do a review on this Husky 3/8 flex head ratchet. Um, Currently you can purchase this ratchet at Home Depot for $30. I've had this ratchet for about 8 months now at work. I'm not a professional mechanic. I do more, I'm a more of a commercial HVAC technician in a large building downtown. So I don't use sockets and ratchets on a daily basis. But I've had it for 8 months and I've abused it a decent amount. Um, but I'm pretty happy with this ratchet compared to the Craftsman 3/8 flex head ratchet that I had for many years. Um, this is actually a much higher quality ratchet. It's not made in America. I'm actually not sure where it's made. Probably China or Japan or Taiwan. I'm not really sure. Um, it is a 72 teeth ratchet, um, and it's one of those tools that if you take care of it, it should last quite a while. It's not the type of ratchet that you're going to be cranking on all the time because it's not really designed for it. It's a more of a specific type of ratchet, meant to get into those hard to reach places. It is 10 inches long, just a little bit over 10 inches long. Um, and some of the features on this ratchet I really like is this flex head is lockable, and it actually has quite a few different positions. So you can go ahead and lock it into that position. So I think it actually has 7 positions. I'm sure it goes 3 positions one way, 3 positions the other way. Okay, so that's straight. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, it's 4 positions. 5, 6, 7. I mean, technically, you could say it has 8 positions, but they're calling it 7 positions. But I've seen a lot of these flex head locking ratchets, and the problem I see with a lot of them and some of the complaints is that the locking mechanism is too bulky and it's in the way. This one's nice and flat. It's made out of metal, and so it's not going to get hung up on stuff. Because, like I said, this is a very specific ratchet. You're going to be using it for to get into a tight area. So you don't want a big bulky switch. Like the Snap-on is going to be a much higher quality tool, but I've heard of their locking flex head ratchets, and a lot of complaints from guys how it's kind of a bulky button and it kind of gets bumped sometimes while they're using it. Another great feature that I love about ratchets is the release button. Even a lot of the higher end ratchets don't have that. And I hear a lot of complaints from guys that, they love Snap-on ratchets and they are very, very high quality. And I would love to actually own some someday. But functionality is more important to me than, I guess, quality, you would say. It needs to be functionable to me. A lot of guys say, those higher end ratchets, they actually have to use a flathead screwdriver to pry the socket off because it doesn't have a release. Especially some of the smaller sockets, you can't even hardly pull them off with your bare hands. So that's something to consider. For $30, you really can't beat that. There's a Craftsman equivalent that I used to have, about the same size ratchet, but didn't have near as many teeth Like I said, that's 72 teeth. So it's pretty fine tooth. In the description, they say that it has a 3.6 degree swing arc. So that's you can get into a really tight space. So I'm barely turning that. So 72 teeth is pretty common amongst a lot of the higher end ratchets. This is not a higher end ratchet at all. This is a very inexpensive ratchet. But like I said, if it's the type of ratchet that you're going to use what it's intended for, just tight spots, it's probably will last you quite a bit. The finish on it, this black finish, I will tell you, is not going to last, since I've had it 8 months, and it comes off very easily. So if you're worried about the aesthetics or the cosmetics of the ratchet itself, I will try to zoom in and focus on that. I will let you know that this black stuff, it just scratches up and it'll wear off. Me, it doesn't bother me. Some guys, it definitely bothers them. But so another thing I would like to mention though, if you are looking for a much higher quality ratchet in this type, lockhead flexing, and you want to opt for Snap-on or Matco or Mac or something like that, I would definitely recommend looking on Craigslist for used ones, because a lot of times, like just today, I looked at here in Illinois, there was a similar ratchet to this, a Snap-on ratchet, locking flex head 3/8. It was longer. I think it was maybe 12 or 13 inches long. So, but it was $45 the guy was selling it for. Now, I don't know what kind of condition that ratchet was in. It looked in very good condition to me, and I don't know how the gears are, but those types of tools usually last a very, very long time. There's probably still a lot of good life left in that ratchet, chances are, and if not, there's a warranty. There's also, like to mention, there is a lifetime warranty on this ratchet as well, so if it breaks, you could bring it in and say, your Snap-on's going to have that warranty as well. But it's harder to kind of fulfill that warranty. But that's something to keep in mind if you're looking for this type of ratchets. A lot of the higher end hand tools, I would definitely recommend buying used on Craigslist and things like that. And also, I would like to mention an SK ratchet. I looked online, and an equivalent SK ratchet, except it doesn't have a locking head on it, and the teeth aren't as fine, is about $56 on Amazon.com. And it's made in America, and it's a very high quality. Now, it is bulkier. The head is bulkier. See, this head is relatively narrow for a ratchet. Not crazy thin, but it's definitely meant. If you could see how slimline this ratchet is, your SK is going to have a bulkier head on it, and even probably a Snap-on head is going to be bulkier than that. And a lot of your higher end tools are going to be bulkier. So that's why I actually really like this ratchet a lot. It's very specific for me, just to get into those tight areas, and I think it'll make a great addition to your tools if you're not a professional mechanic. If you're a professional mechanic, you're really not going to be wanting to buy something like this unless you're starting out. This will probably be great for you, just till you make some money and buy some more quality stuff. Now, if you put a whole lot of torque on this, I guarantee you'll break the teeth on it in the head. I wouldn't doubt on. But for me, I'm not. Like I said, I use my tools properly. So usually, if I have high torque application, I'm not going to pull this out. I'm going to put a breaker bar on it or a bigger ratchet, and this is mainly just to get into those tight areas that aren't very high torque, but more of a low or medium torque application. So it's pretty comfortable in the hand, and holding it you could tell it's got some weight to it for sure, but to me, you could tell it's not of any quality. Now the locking head to me though definitely feels like it's locked very well. I don't feel like that's ever gonna break. You're not really. I mean, it's pretty floppy when you unlock it. Not crazy floppy. I mean, there's some resistance there. Not a whole lot, but there's a little bit of resistance. So, as far as that goes, I don't see having issues with that. The selector switch is also metal. You know, switches really nicely. And I've never oiled this ratchet. I just bought it, started using it, so probably something I should do. And it's got that comfortable handle. It's obviously trying to mimic that typical snap-on handle, you know, that round handle. So a lot of companies are kind of mimicking that style these days. But yeah, let me know if you like this video. Just leave some comments down below. And thanks for watching, guys.